Welcome back to Behind Closed Doors. Actually, not welcome back because this is our first episode with the new name, but it's our segment that we have. New name, Behind Closed Doors. Check it out. Let's get into it. Boom, boom, cash. We're starting off. D, get out of here. We're trying to start. Well, actually, we should tell D about the rebrand.
Oh, yeah, D. You'll see here when we put it out. This is all rebranded.
Have you told him about it yet or no?
No. I probably should have said something, but.
Okay, Pete. Well, tell your boss about what you're doing without his consent.
Behind closed doors. Instead of Tuesday, Thursday, we thought behind closed doors would be a cool take on the show.
Is that why all the doors are closed?
Well, that's actually funny.
The door was closed until you barged into my office. My big spacious office with my great view.
Yeah, the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, I got a great view from this office. So yeah, it's the rebrand, Behind Closed Doors. We talk about what goes on behind closed doors, and we try to keep our doors closed when we record this, so people like him can't come in. You can go pop into Pete's room next, and pop it on in.
Here he comes.
Behind closed doors. Cool. One of the first things we want to start off with is it's 5-4 day today.
You don't even close the door. This guy.
You open the door. There, he's in all three screens.
He's been everywhere. God.
This is what 18 years of business does to you?
Yeah, he's lost his mind. He lost his mind by year 4, I think.
Is that when you joined?
I joined in 07, so 18 years is 02, so 5 years. Year 5. He'd already lost his mind, I guess.
So we want to kind of talk about this and what the office that we're in and how we're able to be here and what's going on. So today's 5-4 day.
Yep.
5-4 is probably the thing that funds most of what we do.
Yeah.
Or at least got us to this point to allow us to have an office and have things and have us be together. 5-4, your brother started when he was in college, and then you actually had a real job.
I did, unfortunately.
And you left your real job. What was that like? You were, 24 years old at the time doing investment banking?
Yeah, so I did 2 years of investment banking, working 18 hours a day like Pete, getting no sleep. But I didn't get a party because I had to actually be functional at 7 a.m. So
do I.
It was sober existence. So I did that for 2 years, and it's a pretty grueling job. So by year 1, you're just like over it at 22, while everyone else is like at happy hours, going to dinners, and you're stuck in the office.
But you're making like what, 100K your first year out of school, 150, 200? Like,
yeah.
Give us the number. What were you making?
First year, right out of college, I made 150, and I think second year I made 185.
Oh my!
Staying at 22, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would work 18 hours a day and give up my social life if I had $180,000.
You do work 18 hours a day. And
I know, and I get paid like $4.
So I was doing that, and this is back in 07 when the market was on fire. So everything seemed to work. So I was like, oh, I'm making this much in investment banking. D told me 5-4 is the next Ralph Lauren. I was like, oh, that's going to work too. So in 07, I left after my first 2 years of investment banking, which is like your analyst years. And most people will either choose to go to private equity or some other place in finance. And D was like, hey, do you want to come be a CFO of 5-4? And keep in mind, at 24, I had no idea what a CFO does.
So wait, how did that conversation happen? Did he call you? Was it like at a family dinner? Like, when did that happen?
No, so like I'd been around the company since they started. I went to SC at the same time, or when they started, I was a freshman. And over the years, he was just like, if you want to come, like anytime you want to come, join. And then they were growing pretty fast at the time, and they needed help with their accounting, their finances, doing cash flow. And while I was at Citigroup, I actually was part of the negotiating process with their current investor that's been there since 2007. So I was just like the financially literate person of the group. And he was just like, why don't you just come and join? I need the help, and I need someone I can trust. So that's how it came about.
And then your salary got cut in half?
So I definitely took a pay cut. And then the economy fell apart, and if I deposited my paycheck, didn't know if it was going to bounce or clear. So held a lot of paychecks too at the time.
And then did you have any regrets ever since joining, or was it just the best decision ever? Because a lot of people want to make the jump from corporate world to entrepreneurship or to a startup.
Yeah, so my experience might be a little kind of skewed because right after I joined, the entire economy crashed. So all my friends in finance started losing their jobs too. And there were a lot of people unemployed. So the fact that I even had a job in 08, 09, that, you know, as long as we didn't go out of business, he wasn't going to fire me. But there was a risk of going out of business.
Yeah. How close were you going out of business? I think Dee's told some of these stories, but were there
Yeah,
days where you're like, it's all over?
Wait, say that again?
Were there days where you're like, this is it, this is the end, there's no way we recover?
Yeah, a lot of times. I mean, making payroll every 2 weeks was a challenge. There was weeks where we didn't know if we could. We would beg our investors for a bailout. Like all that happened. Like it wasn't like but you're so delusional because we were so young. I think because we were so young, we were able to get through it because we didn't even understand what that meant, like shutting down, going out of business. So we just were so naive. We're just like, oh, we'll figure it out. Next week, we'll figure that week out. So he had this saying, miracle money would always come. And whenever we're at the lowest of lows, he was just like, don't worry, miracle money's coming any day now. And shockingly, it did at the lowest of lows. So maybe he was right. Maybe he knew something that I didn't.
Yeah. Dee also told me throughout the whole way that like on the good days, they partied and had fun. But on the bad days, you guys also partied and had fun for your sanity. Is that true? Like when you guys were in the dumps, you'd still go out to party?
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about on the last podcast, like the most fun that we had was when the business was the shittiest. So we had to furlough our entire staff for half-day Fridays to get a 10% pay cut as opposed to laying off people. We thought, you know, people would rather take a pay cut than having to fire like their coworker. And so we would be in the office from like 9 to 12:31. Office is closed. And we would go like the Belmont, we'd go to like Cabo Cantina, we'd go to Venice and just start drinking and sail into the weekend. So that was a fun time. And it was like, it's part of the journey you like appreciate. Like, I remember there's moments where something would happen and it would save the month. Like that joy when you're about to go out of business or you think you're about to go out of business and that happens. Yeah. Like you appreciate that way more than when you're already doing tens of millions of dollars and you add another 10 million. Like that's not that exciting.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. And then when you joined, was the plan ever to build it up and sell it? Or like most people don't go into a startup and say, I'm going to do this for 18 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think we never even had that opportunity to sell. So we did one process where we tried to raise a lot of money and that didn't happen. But we never were in the process of trying to sell it. No one actually approached us. A lot of people who sell their businesses, people approach them and then the conversation starts. And if it's interesting, then you go down that route. But with us, no one ever approached us. All we want to do is raise capital to grow the business even more. But yeah, Dee and Andres kind of drive that thinking more than kind of like I obviously had some conflicting opinions on, you know, along the way, but it was their baby. So, you know, they're ultimately going to make the decision.
Yep. And were there any conflicts when you and Dee ever had any like major conflicts or major fights to the point that you guys wouldn't go to family dinners together or wouldn't, you know, you'd miss different holidays or something?
I would say early on, we had a couple huge blow-ups, like in the first 2 years. And it was more like brothers fighting and it was in front of our investors. We're just cussing each other out in front of the whole office. And the investors were just like, okay, these are just two brothers fighting. Like, it never was really over business. It just became like petty sibling rivalry stuff. And then I think we just got older and matured and that hasn't happened since. We've conflicted on views of the business, but not to the point in the last decade at least that we were fighting on a personal level. It would be like, we would yell at each other, but it was purely about business reasons, not about anything like beyond that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, let's hope for another 18 solid years of 5-4, and we're all thankful for 5-4 funding us and helping us get this thing off the ground.
You guys are in your 40s if you make it another 18 years. How crazy is that?
That's crazy. And you and Dee will be in your 80s.
Yeah, it'll be our business by then.
Yeah. If we're still working on it in 18 years and you guys haven't taken over, we did something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Pete, let's hop in the weekend recap. What'd you do this weekend, Pete?
I think first of all, before we get into anything I did this weekend, we have to quickly talk about that thing above your lip that is so large. That is bigger than Tim's, too. Tim started this. I did this like little miniature thing, and then he just did that.
You're going full stash, huh?
The beard is gone, so that's a positive.
Right. That thing is like a full copper stash. That's like a commitment.
Well, I mean, it's cute that you're trying to grow yours and you can't grow yours like me.
No.
So that's cute, number one.
Are you going for a stash, Pete?
It's just a little something light.
But
how long are you gonna keep it going? Another week?
Well, yeah, I just keep it trimmed.
Got it.
I think as a guy though, when you have a beard, it's impossible not to shave your beard without shaving like a little goatee or to shave something stupid on it. And as I'm shaving, I'm like, this is just so stupid. I have to keep it. And that's why it's here. So now tell us about your weekend, Pete. What did you do that you shouldn't have?
Weekend, so I partied. I've been itching at the whole idea of getting back to partying. Like I genuinely need to like have that release.
What do you like? What do you feel? You just need to go pound some Costa Bravas and get after it. Like,
it's not even Costa Bravas or pounding. It's just like I need that social interaction. I need to be able to be like it doesn't have to be partying. So exactly.
Walk us through the party. Where was it?
We were over in the west side of my friend's place. They have
like a small apartment.
No, it was up on their rooftop. They have like a rooftop you can go on. There was no pool, unfortunately. But we went out there. There was about 10 of us. So we still kept it small. But like nobody gave a fuck that we were up there.
But it was open air.
Yeah.
Not as reckless as I would have expected.
Right. But we definitely still got pretty drunk.
How drunk did you get?
I didn't black out, but I was like borderline.
Did you Uber X home?
Yeah, technically.
Okay.
What does technically mean?
The next morning.
Okay. So you couldn't even get out of the apartment.
Right. Well, I just stayed back at my other friend's.
But Taylor, you had some boat pics. What were you doing?
Yeah, I was on a boat. I'm sunburned. I don't know if you could tell. Like, I'm fully sunburned everywhere. We went on a boat in Newport Beach, in the Trump capital of the world, which is insane. Every boat had Trump flags on it. And every time that they get in groups together and chant like, "Open up America."
No way.
Up America.
Yeah, video of it. We'll insert it right here.
Okay, neutral then. And then neutral then. Just neutral. Hold on. Let it go.
I didn't get to chant on video because we were far away, but everyone with these Trump flags, it was absolutely crazy. I actually got insanely seasick to the point that like it was a miserable experience for me.
But aren't you just coasting around the bay, or did you go out like how can you?
No, so I went off Grant and Parker, and all of us brought our girlfriends or significant others, and we get out there, and like we went out of the Newport Harbor, and it was like chill, and then he went and docked like in the middle of like the worst water ever, and we're going up and down, and I was just like, dude, I can't do this. And it's like pretty much took a nap laid down and closed my eyes and woke up super sunburned, came back, woke up to all the Trump supporters chanting "Open Up America," and that was my weekend.
So Newport is as advertised.
It was so MAGA, it was crazy. Everyone had a Trump flag. And I was the brownest person there. Honestly, with my mustache, they thought I was Mexican, and some people gave me some dirty looks.
I'm sure. So is it safe to say you guys are obviously both under 30? The quarantine is over.
I mean, to be honest, like I've been quarantining out of respect for others.
Yeah.
But from day one, and Pete, I think you probably echo this statement. Like from day one, like I wasn't really scared. Like, and I was doing it to be respectful towards you guys, to be respectful towards my mom, who I see, and other people. But I'm like, come on, what's the chance of actually getting corona? And if so, like, if I get it, I get it. Like, I almost really agree with that dude from Florida, from the spring break, who was like, if I get corona, I get corona. I'm like, I made fun of him, but I'm like, kind of agree with him.
Right. So it's basically, we're at week 6, 7, whatever it is. Your age group's just like, we're done. We did our part.
We're done from the beginning.
No, I know you're done from the beginning, but you guys actually kind of quarantined in the beginning. But now it's just like you're out and about.
But like we're still being, I think, respectful of the way that like I did it. I saw some other friends kind of do the same thing, but just keeping it to small groups. We have nowhere to go. There's no bars or clubs or anything like that open. But yeah, to the complete lockdown state, it's like kind of a...
Yeah, quarantine is like smoking weed. Like you'll do it, just not in front of people, be respectful, and just do it on your own and quiet and
with your friends.
Deal about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they locked down the city, even with the extension of lockdown, they assumed that you guys would start doing this, that people are going to go to apartment parties and rooftops. They really just don't want the sporting events and the concerts and like the Grove where there's like people breathing on each other from all different walks of life. So
of course.
Yeah.
Are you over it?
No, we're still taking it pretty seriously.
Because you have a young kid, or because you're older, or what?
It's a good question. I think my age group just thinks about this as like way more serious than others. So we have a rooftop in our apartment building, and there's one of our best friends lives there, and they have 2 young kids. So we'll go on the roof and interact, but they're kind of part of our quarantine. We're not like sharing champagne bottles and like partying, but like, we'll go up there, have a drink, hang out, let the kids run around. But I mean, I don't know how to think about it, because it's either we extend quarantine till post-vaccine, or you start resembling normal life. Like, there's no strategy with the way we're being told things. So it's tough to really wrap my head around it.
So when do you think you're going to be comfortable going out and doing things?
Like what specific? Like go to a restaurant?
Like, I'm comfortable doing anything right now. I'm just like, whatever.
So
like,
you would go to a sporting event at Staples Center sold out?
I mean, if it was a good game. I'm not going to fucking a Staples Center. Lakers and Clippers are both good, so yeah, I'd go. If they were good.
Like if there's a Travis Scott concert where everyone's mosh pitting on the floor, you've no problem being in that floor?
I mean, Pete would love that Travis Scott concert.
Look, if I don't have it already, there's no chance I don't. I'm almost positive I've had to have gotten it from somewhere.
I think
I'm willing to roll my chances.
Look, I've been pretty reckless with the way I've been living. Like, I've been cautious, but not overly cautious, and I think I'm immune to it. And I think most of my friends I talk to, they're like, yeah, we're definitely immune. So
I think I was exposed to it really early on, because a lot of people at the places we were hanging out, got it. So I hope I'm asymptomatic, but like, I also don't want to take that chance. I mean, me dying with a wife and kids is a lot different than Pete dying.
He just said his life is more important and valuable.
Yeah, far more valuable. What the fuck was that?
People rely on me. Who's relying on me?
You know how many people rely on me?
Yeah, how would you guys make any of your content? D would be beside himself.
Group chat would crumble.
Blank.
Yeah, it's funny.
Cool. So speaking of generational age gaps, did you watch Last Dance last night?
I did.
Why are you boomers obsessed with it?
So my entire childhood revolved around Michael Jordan. So when he came on and he really became the Be Like Mike was the 90s, I was age 7 to 98. I would have been 15. So he was it. It was like every time the Bulls were on national television, and I was a huge basketball fan to begin with, and we played, recreational sports, so we were super into it, and it was like Michael Jordan or nothing in the 90s. And I think what was unique about that time, there wasn't social media, internet. There was a limited amount of content you could consume that was super compelling. So even people who weren't basketball fans, Michael Jordan was part of their life. Yeah. And he was the most famous person on the planet for almost a decade. And he was the greatest athlete of all time. And to relive that while sports are not on, and I think it would have been huge either way, but it was just like every clip they show of like games, I remember watching it. The same way like when Kobe's on and they show clips of Kobe, I remember watching him push Byron Russell and hitting that jumper in my living room. I remember those things.
That's awesome. And I agree with the nostalgia and how great Jordan is. That being said, I think the doc is poorly made.
Really?
Like, it jumps around so much. Like, every commercial break it's like a completely different episode. Yeah. So I didn't watch last night's, but I've watched the first 4. And it's like 1 minute, for 10 minutes, they're talking about Scottie Pippen. Yeah. And they're in 1996. And then the next time they're talking about Michael Jordan, and then 1987. And then they're talking about Rodman being the teammate on the Bulls. Then he's playing against Rodman on the Pistons. It makes no sense the way the doc jumps around.
So I will tell you, last night was 10 times better than the first 4.
Okay.
They open with Kobe last night. Kobe's first All-Star game, which was Jordan's last All-Star game. And then the behind-the-scenes locker room footage. It was so cool. That's
pretty cool. Did you watch last night, Pete?
Yeah.
And then my question to you, Taylor, I know you play basketball. Pete, do you play basketball too?
Yeah, Pete's actually really good at basketball.
He's a big Wisconsin athletic guy.
Dude, he's got some skills. Like,
and it seemed like he'd get dirty on the boards. He could throw some elbows.
No, he's a force to move down there. He's got thick thighs. He's plants himself down there.
Yeah, I'm big from fucking waist down, just thick tree trunk.
A little too much information there.
No, not.
All right, so for your age group, is Last Dance a thing? I know you guys play basketball, so maybe it is for you too. But like, in your friends group chats, are people talking about Last Dance?
So I think the first episodes, people were super hyped. Like, people were more hyped about it before it came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it came out, people were talking like, MJ's the GOAT. We grew up watching him. Can't wait. And then it came out and it kind of just went like, I was pumped for the first episode. Then I was like, I didn't like the way it was shot, and it was slow, and there's a lot of weird B-roll clips, and I wanted more behind the scenes, and I was like, I felt like I was just watching like Michael Jordan YouTube highlights.
Right. I think it got way better this last night's 4 and 5. And then they talk about why did he leave, and there's all the conspiracy theories of like the gambling problem. Did the NBA tell him to leave? Like, it was cool, and you just see how much of a savage he is. So like, you don't even have to play sports to be like, if you want to be the greatest, like, it's undeniable. That mentality is what made him Michael Jordan, as much as the skill and the athleticism.
For sure. Yeah. I have a lot of entrepreneur friends who are just like, this is the mindset. After watching this, you got to hustle and grind and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, he was just so obsessive with everything.
That's how we need you to be about this, Pete. Speaking of you not being obsessive over this, we've been having the video jump around way too much. It's getting better now, but the first episodes, I had all my friends text me, why is Drama's face showing up on Pete's box and this and that? Can you address that?
So we were just having technical problems with the recording. So the one time he just didn't record, period, with mine. Then the second time I went to go check because we were doing QuickTime, it just had stopped recording. So then it froze, and then I jumped over to the phone. So then we just originally took the Zoom recording, which I didn't realize there was 2 layouts to it. So we had just a speaker one where it shows just the person.
Yada, yada, yada. Is it fixed? That's all people want to know.
Yeah.
And then if Michael Jordan put that out, ask yourself, what would Michael do? He would make us re-record, wouldn't he?
100%. Jordan would have made us re-record.
Yeah, well, we're not Jordan, so too bad.
You want to be Pete. All right, speaking of not working and not working hard enough at all, you put video games in here. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I actually played video games with Drama the other night.
Is he good?
No.
That's the full segment you want to talk about?
He had 1 kill. He had 1 kill his first game.
So you just texted him like, hey, you want to play some COD or something?
Yeah, and he jumped on. And then
did you guys play Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty.
So are you playing every night, Pete?
Yeah, most nights.
And
are you better than Drama?
Yeah, way better.
Do you text friends like, hey, let's jump on? Or you just play with randoms? I
have group chats of people being like, I mean, it's gotten really big during the quarantine, but yeah.
What other games do you play?
2K and FIFA.
I think you grow. I think you'll grow to video games when you get to like 24, 25. So like,
oh yeah,
that was the same thing for me. Like when I was in college, I used to love it. And like the first year of school, like I always had to have like an Xbox or PS3 or whatever. And then when I got to 24, I'm just like, why the fuck am I playing video games?
I mean, there's nothing else to do right now, so it's really easy to just be jumping on every night. I generally haven't. Like it's only been like this last year that I really started playing. But
I think you'd be doing a real disservice outside of quarantine in a city like LA if you spent your nights fucking playing video games when you could walk down the street and like have a lot more fun.
Literally.
Did you ever play video games, Anand?
I played in college and then right after college, just completely. I played NCAA and Madden. Those were my games.
That was the best. I think it's funny that Drama's picking it up now and like he's like, didn't he ask you for like training courses or something or how to get better?
Well, yeah, he just was in this incorrect game mode where it was just it was like Fortnite, but it's like takes longer to come back. You have to reset the whole game over, and then I like just showed him multiplayer, and he was just like blown away. He's like, "This is so fun! I had no idea this existed." I was like, "Yes, this is the game. Like Warzone isn't. It's new now."
How many hours a day you think you're playing?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Not too bad.
It's not every day. It's maybe like 4 or 5 days a week.
That's not bad at all. Pete's actually working, huh?
Pete works hard.
Pete does work hard.
I generally get here like around 8:39, and I'm here till at least 7.
That's crazy. And then you go home and walk me through your evenings. A 23-year-old in quarantine, fake quarantine. What are you doing?
You leave the office at 7, then what?
Then I go home. I'll just cook dinner, and I'll literally play video games. Unless I'm hanging out with some friends, then I'll go over and hang out with them, whatever we're doing. But I'm still like, come home, depending on what time I get home. I might play an hour of video games and go to bed.
You have roommates, right?
Yeah, I have 2 roommates.
Randoms?
Yeah.
And are they having people over?
No.
And you play video games in your room or in the living room?
My room.
So pretty much you just cook dinner and then go in your room and just close your door and you're like, peace.
What about you, Taylor? What's your evenings?
Well, my evenings start like at 2 because I leave the office like at 2 every day.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I get in like 11, leave at 2 usually. Go back. Me and my girlfriend will walk to Whole Foods, wait in line for a while, and think about what we're gonna make for dinner that night. So we spend some
That kills
time.
an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we'll like prep cool recipes and stuff, and that's our big thing for the night. We'll start cooking. Depending on the night, we might take an edible or smoke a joint or get ready to eat some dinner. Eat dinner, get into bed, like not kidding, like at 8:30, and go to sleep.
You're not watching shows? You sleep earlier than I do, and I have a kid.
We probably go to like fall asleep. Like she falls asleep a lot later, so she usually falls asleep like at 10:30 or 11. But I'll get in bed. I'll fall asleep like at 9:30 because I wake up at 6:30.
Yeah.
Get ready for the market bell. You want to ring that
Get
bell?
ready to see how much money I lose. And we have like clients in New York and on the East Coast. So like ever since we started picking up clients on the East Coast, which we've had for like the past year, like I just feel like a bum. Like if I wake up at 9, that's noon their time. So I have to get up like at 6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just have to be up.
Right. What'd the market do today? I didn't even see.
It was pretty even. Let's see. Well, this leads us to our next point, the market update. So I think the last time we recorded this was last week, and I was getting pummeled. I think I was down like close to 80 grand. Right now, I'm only down $69,000.
Oh, that's a big comeback. What a week you had. 13,000 bucks?
So today we went up. Today we only lost $389, which is pretty good. But on Friday, the market took a dump. It went down 3%, and I went up like 7 or 8%. So I went up like 10 grand.
I think you'll have a good week. I feel like a lot of shitty companies are about to report earnings.
That's the plan. So every day we're showing how much we're digging out of this $69,000 hole.
What are you going to do once you get to even? Give the listeners something, a giveaway, a hoodie. What are you going to give them?
Once I get to even, I'll probably put more money in so I can go lose some more. Like a true degenerate. I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get to even? So it's SPXU. I'm at 17 right now. My cost basis is like 25.
So 25 represents what? Dow 18,000?
It doesn't work like fully.
Or whatever. It should be
yeah.
How much does the market have to go down from here in theory?
It depends because it's on the day-to-day basis. So if it loses 3% a day, then I gain 10%.
Look, I think you have a shot because states are about to reopen and the next earnings cycle are going to be just as bad as this earnings cycle. And
so if the market drops like 20 to 30%, I think I'm even.
I mean, most people are expecting that. It's just being propped up by the Fed. So
we're hoping to get back to zero.
I think so.
It's weird how going back to zero makes it feel like I just made $69,000.
It kind of does feel like that, right?
Yeah. Gambling mentality.
I have a new trade I put on.
Okay. Tell me about it.
Planet Fitness, the gym.
Okay.
My friend was like, I think they're going bankrupt. So he put on some shorts for me and a few friends. They report earnings on Wednesday. So I'll give you an update next week.
Should I get in on that?
I'm doing it. I don't give stock advice.
What is where does that information come from? Is that like a valued source? Is that
No, my friend's a trader and he's just like, hey, I like this trade. Do you guys want to jump in on it? And we're like, yeah, jump in.
And then you just like Venmo him or you just do the same trade in your Robinhood account?
No, he's managing it for us. Cause he's doing like shit that like you can't even do on Robinhood. Like it's more advanced trading than I'm experienced with.
So you just like, he'll float you the money and just be like,
exactly. Yeah.
Cool. It's literally gambling with a bookie.
Yes. And he's literally giving us credit. So it's great.
Yeah.
It's like I'm betting it's like a March Madness right now.
It pretty much is.
oh my god.
Planet Fitness.
I need Planet Fitness to go bankrupt.
I just need this company to go out of business. And then we're good. Then we win.
Pete, what's if you were to do something, if someone gave you $1,000 right now and said you have to do something in the stock market with it, what would you do?
I don't even know. I would just put it on some big company that I knew was fine. I just put it on Amazon or Apple or somebody.
Smart move.
I mean, that's just a safest bet. I'm not going to go take it. I mean, I could just throw it at somebody. I could research the market for like 5 minutes and be like, okay, I'm going to pick that.
What would you do if you were researching the market?
Yeah, where would you go?
Google, what stock should I put $1,000 on?
Yeah,
right
if you
now?
wanted to find finance news, where are you going, Pete?
Google. I'll just Google where to find it.
Joe, Google finance news.
Yeah, where's the best finance news?
Okay. Do you have a site in mind that may potentially be a good one?
Mm-mm. Yahoo
Have you heard of,
Finance.
like the Wall Street Journal or Financial Times?
Yahoo Finance.
Yahoo Finance. That's a good one.
He would text you or D.
That's good.
That's good. Cool. That's all we got for this episode. We got our meeting coming up in 5 minutes, so we got to hop off.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Any last words, Pete?
Well, no, this is behind closed doors now.
Yeah, so it's a new name, Behind Closed Doors, and you don't have any sponsors today. What the hell's up with that?
We're working on something.
You think this podcast is paying for itself?
Well, it wasn't paying at all in the first.
5-4 is paying for it. Thank you, 5-4.
Yeah.
That's brought to you by the Menlo Club 5-4 Day.
Yeah, go over and sign up with them.
Oh, yeah, make that an ad, Pete. Talk about
Yeah, head over to the 5-4. Use promo code, I know, DYT. Gets you 50% off. Really great sales going on with the store right now. Head over there. Get your first package. Half off. Great clothing. You get a pair of sunglasses with that code as well. So
Awesome. Wait, Pete, one last thing before we go I want to address. You flex in our group chat today, sending all these people saying how good your ad reads are.
So if you guys listen to group chat, and if you don't, go listen to group chat, they were saying that my ads didn't make a difference. And I said, no, people have been replying saying they're amazing. They're pretty much the reason they listen. And then that was proof. Because D's like, I bet
you think people are listening to the podcast to get to your ad reads?
Yeah, dude, did you not read them today? I'm going to post them on group chat. Fuck you guys.
This guy
it literally says, they go, fuck you guys. We skip everything just to get to your ad reads.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start a new podcast called Pete's Ad Reads.
I just read ads for like 5-10 minutes.
That's actually, I mean, it monetizes itself. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. And then I could just do crazier and dumber shit.
Yeah,
No.
I like it. Pete's Ad Reads. Cool.
All right.
All right.
That's it.
Good stuff.
Guys,
Make sure you
See
go
you guys.
follow us.
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being on. We'll see everyone Thursday.
Okay.
Behind Closed Doors. Out.